Hey folks, we've had quite a few inquiries from guys that are wanting us to break down the retrieves more, the different types of retrieves, where we might use them, how to do them effectively, that sort of thing. So we're going to talk through hopping today as a retrieve technique for catching a stack of different species. So basically the hopping, we're making a cast, up current preferably. I like to fish up current, bring the lure back naturally with the current. So our lure's out there, I'm watching the line as it sinks, and when it hits the bottom, the line will go slack. So often you'll see it cut a V in the water, boom, that V stops, the line sits still, and it's on the bottom. And then our hop is basically a vertical lift of the rod. So we're lifting the rod up and we're causing the plastic to hop off the bottom and attract the attention of predators. Looks like something that's trying to get away, something that's fleeing. So what's the right way to hop? What's the right speed, aggressiveness? How big should we be hopping? Really, it comes down to what works on the day. So you've got to mix it up a bit until you find what the fish want. So commonly, a lot of people will do what they call a double hop. So they basically let the plastic settle on the bottom, hop, hop, 2 hops, and then wind up the slack. And as you're winding up the slack, you want to allow the plastic to fall as freely and naturally as possible. And then we'll do our 2 hops again. We're winding up the slack while we're allowing that plastic to free fall. Boom, the plastic hits the bottom. A lot of the time with, say, a species like flathead, when you go to do the hops again, that's when your flathead will be on the lure already. As it's sunk, he's grabbed it. As you go to lift, you feel the weight and you set the hook. Otherwise, at times we'll go hop, hop, and as that plastic's sinking back down, we're winding up the slack, but we're also trying to feel, just in case there's any sort of tick on the line or any sharp movement or speeding up of the line that we see, and then we want to wind up and set the hook, because a mulloway, a snapper, flatty has likely grabbed that plastic as it's sinking. So we've got to keep an eye out for those signs that it's been eaten, whether it's just that tap on the line, or the line speeding up or rapidly moving, or even the line stopping prematurely when it should be sinking. Could be a sign that there's a fish holding onto the lure. So we'll make our cast. We'll allow it to sink to the bottom. We're just fishing an edge bite here for flathead, but you could be fishing for any species. In this case here, we want the lure to be on the bottom, so we're watching for it to hit the bottom. Again, that double hop, 1, 2, to get that plastic hopping up off the bottom. Some people prefer 1 single hop. Doesn't matter. We can give it 1 hop or whip it up off the bottom, 1 sharp hop, and same thing, allow that plastic to fall. I'll often fish 3 more subtle hops, 1, 2, 3, let it hit the bottom, 1, 2, 3, let it hit the bottom. And I just find 2 or 3 more subtle hops for me works quite often. In the deep water, you may find yourself hopping more aggressively because you've got a bigger water column to work in. When you're up on the shallow flats, you may find yourself doing more subtle hops because you don't want to rip that plastic right up in the entire metre of water when you're retrieving it. So it might just be a hop, hop, get it up off the bottom a bit, move it 1/2 metre. And in that case, a rod with a reasonable amount of, you want a whippy tip, so you've got that feel and that casting, but you want enough tip that when you're whipping that plastic, you are driving the plastic, you are making it hop. So a fast action type of taper in the rod is good. That tip action to be able to whip that plastic up. Hop, hop, pause it, let it get to the bottom, hop, hop, and away we go again. Now, you might not be chasing flathead, you might be chasing bass. So do I have to let my plastic fall right to the bottom? No, you don't, you know. You might be chasing bass in 30 feet of water. They might be holding at 20 feet on your sounder. So in that case, it may be a matter of casting out, and we just want to see how long it takes our plastic to hit the bottom. So in this case, we're only in shallow water, but we might flick our plastic out, count it down to the bottom. We're in about 6 foot of water, 5 or 6 seconds to get to the bottom, so 1 second per foot of water. So for our bass in 20 foot of water, we might make the cast, count to 20, we know we're down around that 20 foot mark, hop, hop, wind the plastic, allow it to fall a little, hop, hop, and try and work our plastic through that area where the fish are holding, where the fish are schooling. Same with any type of fishing, fresh or salt. You might use that hopping retrieve, but you're hopping it through mid-water. You might hop the lure past bridge pylons. You might hop it high in the water column, hop it low, and then you might hop it right down on the bottom then. So high, mid-water, and then hop it on the bottom. So there you go, that's a hopping retrieve. We're gonna hop our way along this bank, bringing the plastic out. We're gonna allow that plastic to sink to the bottom. We're gonna hop our way along and see if we can catch ourselves a flatty. Cheers. So there we go, we're fish on, just mixing the lures up a bit, working our way along this bank. Oh, he's cranky. So we're just mixing it up here between a 1/4 ounce head and a 3/8 ounce head, 3-inch minnows, 3-inch slim swims, just good paddle tail pluckies for hopping an edge. Oh, that fish is cranky. This is a nice flatty, I think, on here. So that hopping retrieve, it's really just about getting that lure out there. You may want to be hopping it on the bottom, you may want to be hopping it mid-water or wherever you can see schooled fish or bait. And it's that using the rod tip in that vertical lift to hop that plastic up off the bottom. Yeah, that's a nice flatty. So we're hopping that plastic up off the bottom, and then we're allowing that lure to free fall naturally back towards the bottom. And at the same time, we're keeping control of the slack line. So we're just watching that line for any movement, or in this case, as that line dropped back to the bottom, this flathead, we just felt the tap, wind up the slack, and set that hook. He's working hard in this run. Come on, buddy, just net in the water, and we don't want to sweep the net around everywhere. Just hold the net in the water and steer the fish into the net. Come on, buddy. Hold the net in the water, steer the fish into the net, and there we go. Not a monster, but a pretty nice flatty in anyone's book. So there we go, that's nice little flatty. 3-inch slim swims in bloodworm on that 1/4 ounce head. And that's that hopping retrieve. So using that rod tip, pop, pop, 2 hops, 3 hops, 1 hop, whatever you feel comfortable with, to get that lure kicking up off the bottom, and that pause to allow it to sink. As it sinks back down, we're looking for movement in the line, or feel of that tick on the line, so we can wind up and set the hook. And we're just hopping and retrieving. That pause, you can vary the pause as well. So hop it up off the bottom, allow it to hit the bottom. These guys, sometimes they like it sitting on the bottom a bit, sometimes they like it popping back up again. So just mix up the length and the speed of your hops, mix up the duration of that pause until you find what the fish want on the day. But hopping retrieve, definitely deadly on the flatties, also deadly on a stack of other species. Give it a crack.